Hey everyone, if you're planning a bachelorette party soon, do not make these mistakes that I made. I made several mistakes during the bachelorette party that I recently went to. If you've been watching along, you know I went to a bachelorette party recently in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I was the maid of honor, or am the maid of honor for this wedding coming up. So it was a big deal for me. I did not plan the whole thing. I just assisted in some of the planning. And there were definitely ways I could have done better. So I want you all to know, me making this video is very much like pulling teeth because I have extreme OCD and I never expect to make any mistakes. I hate saying it out loud like that, but that's really how my brain works. So the mistakes that were made along the way, it was like why didn't I think of that? So I really hope in making this video, I'm helping you have a smoother time while planning your bachelorette party or while planning it for someone else, and that it's a smoother process than mine and all the mistakes that I made along the way. Let's get started. One of the mistakes I made was I didn't grab everyone's flight details. And to start with, I had full intentions of knowing this, but I didn't really communicate that I wanted flight details. I more so just asked like, what time does everyone land or what day does everyone fly in? But I didn't really grab confirmation numbers. I would have love to grab that because I could have tracked people's flights along the way. Someone had, flight delays, someone else had a flight cancellation, there was someone that lost their luggage. and I will say I didn't even grab everyone's flight landing time. So I would say if you're going to a bachelorette party where it requires flying and travel, definitely grab confirmation numbers so that you can track it along the way. I think it's so helpful to just know in advance rather than, asking everyone every so often like, hey, when do you land again? When do you land again? Or what's the update on your flight when there's other things going on? The other mistake I made was I didn't make reservations everywhere we went, even if it was a just in case plan. And in my previous video, I said a helpful tip is to have a just in case plan, even if maybe the bride says we don't need to do much that day, or maybe if the group decides on doing like something else, I would say have a just in case plan. And aligned with that though, make sure the plan is somewhat set in stone. So for us, we had a group of like 11 girls, and there was one night where some of us flew in a little early and we were all standing around like, where we're about to eat at, like just on our phones looking. And some people were pitching like places that were just close by, but we wouldn't get like the real like Florida experience. It was more so like chain restaurants they were pitching. Luckily, I had an idea of where to go because a coworker of mine is from that Fort Lauderdale area. And so I pitched it. It's El Camino. If you're gonna go to Fort Lauderdale, you have to go check out El Camino. It is huge, good food, good drinks, good service. Like I really thought it was so great. It's in Las Olas area and it's just such a fun, popular area. So I knew about this place, and so I had called in advance. They said they don't accept reservations, so I thought, okay, like we're just gonna try it. And luckily when we showed up, they sat us immediately outside. It was just like so nice in the patio area, but that doesn't happen all the time. Like that was Diosito. He was looking out for me because I wanted it to go smoothly, obviously. So I would say make sure you have your just in case plans, because I truly didn't and had to like really pivot. Although I had it in my mind, it wasn't something that I had told the girls like, hey, we're gonna do this and that's that. It was more so like scrambling a little bit first, and I would have loved to avoid the scramble because I do think when there's those times of scrambling for things to do on vacation in general, it can cause some anxiety. So I'm happy that that worked out, but it was a small mistake. The next one is to get Airbnb and hotel information correct. Get confirmation numbers. Anyone that books, like have them send the email over to you, forward it, because unfortunately our situation was we had thought we were staying at one hotel, and one of the girls showed up to that hotel. She said they couldn't find the reservation name. She gave the bride's name, she gave my name, and unfortunately the bride was about to hop on a flight. I was actually in a meeting, and so I just felt so like useless. And I think like it's just like, it's so irritating for me whenever I cannot assist or help in the way I know I can. So I was like just, putting her and the bride in a group chat in case the bride wasn't on the flight yet. Turns out the hotel we were supposed to stay at was not the one that girl showed up to. It was a different one on like a different side of town. And so it stinks because of the miscommunication there, but I think what stunk the most for me was that I didn't think to grab the confirmation number from who booked it. And I look back now and I'm like, that was such a easy thing to have just like been ahead of, grabbing the confirmation number, maybe even calling in advance and just double checking that I had the right address and that the right address was shared in the group chat with the rest of the girls. I'm so thankful only one girl showed up to the wrong hotel, and she was able to tell everyone else in the group chat to go to the correct hotel. But man, was that stressful for like the 15 to 20 minutes of me just on my phone while in meetings trying to figure out like what's going on. Reading from my phone because these notes are important and mistakes were made that you all are going to learn from. So the next one is have a talk with everyone beforehand so everyone is on the same page about the weekend the bride wants. And I meant to do this and I didn't. I fully had it in my head of like getting the girls together, talking to them, assigning out buddies, and I did not. Luckily the buddy system wasn't needed. We all did stay together as a group-ish, I would say, but I wish I would have had a talk with everyone about the expectation of like, we're here for the bride, we need to be here for the bride, get right to the Airbnb for the bride, and just think about the bride and all the conversations you're having. If you're having a high stress moment, don't have it around the bride. Looking back, the bride had the best time. Like she, I think, texted me the other day and said she had a good time. And I know, looking back, you can always say like, oh, I wish I would have done that, this or that, but I just wonder how much more relief of stress it might have been on me had I had that conversation ahead of time with all the girls. And that's not shade in general, it's just, it would have been helpful to have that conversation. Next is to get all of the payment app details before everyone goes. And I did send out like a message to the girls to get this information down, like the Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, and let them know what all you have. I think I had wrote this down on my phone because although I told everyone ahead of time, like, hey, drop what you have, make sure everyone has it. I think it was a little disorganized when it came to like who was paying for what, whether it came from the Airbnb or the food, yada yada. And so I would say just if you can get even more detailed rather than like asking for everyone to make sure they have a payment app downloaded, ask for handles, add people on there. I know on Venmo you can add each other as friends. And just really open up those conversations of like where to request money from if you are paying for an Uber and you want to split it, or if you do pay for the check and you have to split it. Just really being comfortable with like those conversations around finances and things getting paid while on the trip, I think is more so the direction of where I wanted to go with this tip and why I put it on here. There was one instance where the restaurant would not let us split a bill, which I will not complain. I mean, it was 11 of us. And so we ate at Earl's Kitchen. It was really great. Service was good. We couldn't split the bill, so I paid for all on my card. And trying to get all of the money on Venmo it was tough because like one, you have to do math, and then two, you have to like drop a long chat of how you got that calculation to everyone. So maybe just get more organized than me. I've heard there's apps where you can split up payments. I have yet to try them. So if you have, please put it in the comment section so that I know for the next one. And my last tip of a mistake to avoid in order to have a good bachelorette party is to make sure you have everything set in stone before sending it out to anyone. Make sure you have the location set in stone before sending it out to the group, dates, times, just as much detail you can give beforehand to avoid any stress or confusion, I think is extremely important. I would say sometimes people can have decision fatigue, so leaving less decisions to a group I think would be best, and just really having it all set in stone before sending out anything, because as soon as you start sending out like memos to the group, bachelorette party like planning items, there's going to be some confusion, there's going to be a lot of questions, and you kind of want to get ahead of that because it is supposed to be such a fun thing, and such a low stress thing. And so, you know, getting it all well detailed. I'm not saying like print out a huge board that goes in your Airbnb with dates and times and, you know, the details. I'm just saying make sure it's all set in stone and that you send it over to the girls, because I think when you leave a decision up to like a big group of people, it can be like kind of irritating. And once again, not the no shade in this video, it's just hopefully tips to help you plan with a group. I think anytime you have to plan with a group, it's like doing a project in school again, and it's like the different personalities and like the different responsibilities and different like just types of people. So have it all set out in stone for the dates, locations, times, and then send it to everyone. The last thing you want is to just hear a bunch of questions, have confusion, hear different opinions, and I think that one will help things go over so smooth. So those are the mistakes that I made and the mistakes I hope you avoid when planning a bachelorette party. I wish you lots of luck if you're planning it. I had the best time. I think Fort Lauderdale was a really great spot to go to. Looking back now, I'm really happy we went. I know when we were first booking it, she mentioned Fort Lauderdale. I was like, no, it's so close to Miami. Like, I really rather have gone to Miami, but after going to Fort Lauderdale with a group of girls, it was just so much fun. I would go back. I would do another girls trip to Fort Lauderdale. I thought it was so much fun. So I wish you lots of luck in your planning, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.